How we feeling about the haircut? We rocking with it? I am. I'm ready for a wedding. Sneak peek. Anyways, what is up, gangsters? Today, I have a very special video. One that's, I don't know how many months, but many months in the making. I have finished completely reading the Catechism of the Catholic Church. So I wanted to talk about it. First of all, for some context, I haven't read a book since high school, and surely not one that is over 700 pages long. And to be honest, I really enjoyed it, like thoroughly. But let's jump back into kind of a background of my faith. I grew up in a Protestant family, a Korean Protestant family for that matter, and for that reason, I don't think my relationship with Christ was really rooted in much, if at all. This is no diss on Protestants, no diss on Koreans, but for me personally, the Korean Christian community was just a little too vain for my liking, for me to have, I guess, fixed my gaze on God completely. So I actually ended up falling out of the religion for a while, starting in high school all the way up until a couple years out of college. And, long story short, I came to the conclusion that I wanted to look deeper and discern Catholicism. And so here we are. I can make a video explaining on that whole process later, but I wanted to keep this video short for the interest of time. Maybe I'll do a little book review style. This book I will give a 10 out of 10. Heading into this, I was a mess. I did not know which way that I wanted to go. I did not know if Catholicism was for me. But I can confidently say by the time I finished this book, I was ready to go to OCIA or RCIA and convert and try to be confirmed. So that's where I'll be in September to April of next year. But that aside, I kind of wanted to talk to you guys about my key takeaways and my favorite sections, and then maybe wrap it out with my favorite quote from the book. So my two favorite sections were the section on the sacraments and then the section on the Decalogue. Section might not be the right terminology, but you get what I mean. The Decalogue, or the 10 Commandments, was actually really informative because it kind of tells you how you should live your life as a Christian, and it expands upon the 10 Commandments and what they really mean. And the section on the sacraments really helped me understand the church side of things and why the church is so important to the faith. All in all, those two together really helped form my foundation of faith and what I had to believe in, essentially. Because I feel like growing up in a Protestant household, foundation was not really set well due to the nature of Protestantism and the fluidity of it, if you will say. But I've written my key takeaways here, and I'll go ahead and read them to you guys. Mary is Theotokos, and not only that, but I firmly believe in the Immaculate Conception. As someone who grew up Protestant, that is actually a crazy thing to say, and I can't believe I'm saying this, but it's really hard to not believe that after reading what I've read. Again, all of these things I can expand upon. If you guys comment, I will gladly make a video for any of these topics. And in that same vein, I actually began pretty recently praying the rosary. My homie Toby says it best when he says the rosary helps you look at life from a different lens. A rose-colored lens, maybe. But it just frames your whole day. Let's say if you pray it in the morning, it frames your whole day in such a beautiful light and just helps you really appreciate life more, in a sense that you lead with love. If that sounds great to you, I recommend praying the rosary. And kind of the last part was, it just allowed me to look at my life from an outside perspective, from the perspective of the other, and compare myself to that of Christ. And that may seem blasphemous to y'all, but Christ is here not only as our Savior, but our role model. And comparing one to Christ is the ultimate way that you can know if you're leading a life of love and if you're really living correctly. And what I learned from looking at myself from that perspective is just how much I would live for myself, whether that be making jokes of people so that I could feel elevated above them, indulging in acts of the flesh, if you know what I'm saying. Just in general, being a D-bag, I can attest, my sister has said that I've become a nicer guy, which really made me happy because it was crazy to me to realize that I was doing my family wrong and I was living so selfishly that my family was compromised and their feelings were compromised on my behalf because I thought that I was more important than everybody else. This is a very maybe preachy video, maybe gospel-y, and if that's not your thing, I completely understand. But from a secular point of view, I would still recommend this book if you really feel like maybe you are a selfish POS like I was and you want to grow in ways that you could be just a better guy in general. I heavily recommend. Here are my credentials for reading this book, okay? I know highlighting doesn't really mean anything, but boom. Above all, what this provided me was direction, which is something that I think in our generation, we are so void of direction and purpose and cause that is outside of the self. And with that being said, I'll end on my favorite quote from St. Augustine. It's on page 19, which is my favorite number, by the way. St. Augustine says, "Question the beauty of the earth, question the beauty of the sea, question the beauty of the air, distending and diffusing itself, question the beauty of the sky, question all these realities. All respond, see, we are beautiful. Their beauty is a profession. These beauties are subject to change. Who made them, if not the beautiful one, who is not subject to change?" That pierced me on a deep level. That's also because I love nature. I'm a huge nature guy. And with that being said, I will be furthering my education in the faith by reading the Confessions by St. Augustine. And with that being said, peace be with you. I love y'all. Peace.